Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I now want to ask Professor Adam Solo also to ask you some questions.
Thank you, Chair. Edung Ethicon. You know, you are one of the people whom you look at the CV and you're trying to make the connection. But listening to you, the connection comes out. And therefore, that makes me change
Thank you.
the question that I wanted to ask. Because the Vice Chair and other members have brought out that connection.
Thank you, sir.
I want to go the Tanui route, FCPA Tanui, to give you the practical aspects of our election and therefore ask you to tell Kenyans why at 48 you are that man that they have been looking for. FCPA Tanui gave you the example of Samuel Kivitu the late. He was quoted as the results were coming in, saying, I can't reach my returning officers. I hope they're not cooking results out there. Then on the day that he was announcing the results at KICC that you have referred to, he was alone with only one media station, the state media station, with GSU around him. And the swearing in took place at dusk. No normal fanfare, no presidents invited, no ambassadors invited. We had to change the law so that now there's a very clear legal process of swearing in the president. In Bomas that you have talked about, a near similar scenario took place. The Supreme Court, even as it threw away the petition, said that the chairman had created an illegal office. The chairman had assigned fellow commissioners what you would call hospitality duties. And in the illegal office, the secretariat was carrying out duties that normally the commissioners are supposed to oversight. You gave us the example of how you and other men and women of wisdom of this country saved the country in 2013 through backroom channels. In other words, the pressure cooker, you released it to release the gas to the Supreme Court that was created by the 2010 Constitution because of the 2007. What I'm asking this gentleman from a marginalized community who, as Fatuma says, has gone against the odds, if you are made chairman, what would you do so that we don't make the Supreme Court the releaser of the pressure, and instead IBC, led by Edung Ethicon, is the one that resolves and brings confidence to Kenya that finally we have a referee that leads an election that is fair, that is transparent, that both winner and loser and Kenyans and observers can say, this was the result.
Thank you, Professor Adam Solo. It's a pleasure to see you here. The last time I met with you was when we were presenting our views from Turkana on the BBI process. This question is almost emotional, coming from deep from your heart. And as I said, we shouldn't have to witness those kind of scenarios. So as I said earlier, we need to look at as a country and as a people, where did the rain start beating us? Could it be the issues of trust in our electoral management processes? Could it be issues of pertaining to those people who from time to time are given those responsibilities to manage our electoral processes? Could it be an issue of processes? So I think, as you've rightly pointed out, from the Kivuitu debacle to Bomas, in between, there have been certain constitutional changes, some legislative changes that have tried to move us from that situation where Chairman Kivuitu declared openly that he doesn't know where his returning officers are. And in the recent elections, as recent as 2013, 2017, and to date, we've witnessed a situation where the returns from the polling stations and the constituency tallying centers actually reach the final tallying center. So there have been certain improvements. For example, because I know most of the time voting might not be the real problem, but where the elephant in the room is in the manner in which we handle our results, the manner in which we tally, tabulate, count, tabulate, tally, and then transmit. So we've seen certain improvements through the use of technology, the RTS, the ERTS, the Electronic Result Transmission System, as we witnessed last time. We've seen improvement in openness, transparency, in the manner in which the results are handled both at the polling station but also at the other levels. So for me, the way I look at it as Kenyans, I think there's a big gap, deficit in terms of us as Kenyans trusting our institutions to deliver free, fair, transparent, verifiable elections. So that lack of confidence is in our institutions and our processes is what we need to address. And if you look at, Prof, even the cost of our elections alone, it's one of the most expensive. And for me, the way I look, from where I sit, I see that lack of trust is what is costing us, even in accounting terms, in financial terms. Because then we tend therefore now to sometimes even over-prescribe, over-legislate, over-regulate. For example, technology, we know we have to procure, then we have to do audit, we have to get an independent firm to audit it, all the way up to after elections. So for me, I would pray for the day when we as Kenyans can trust and say, Mr. Erastus doing Ethicon has really nothing to gain by bungling elections, by undermining the will of the people of Kenya. What do I stand to gain? So I would want a situation where this new commission, we sit down, number one priority, how do we restore trust How do we bridge that gap? We look at those processes. We look at the people, even internally, our staff. Are they neutral? Are they impartial? Are they professional? We as commissioners, we come individually. I'm here today, I'm speaking for myself, but there'll be others, they speak for themselves. You will pick 6, maybe perhaps to join me, luckily. But we bring different personalities, different orientations, different persuasions. So we need to reconcile all that and look at the law and say, look, the Constitution, Article 73, tells us the position you occupy as a commissioner, as chair, and as secretariat is a commission of trust by the people of Kenya. And therefore, you should do it, carry out your duties and functions as commissioners in a manner that must comply with the objectives and the purpose of the Constitution. And it gives us all that directions. Number 2, we must behave and carry out our duties in a manner that respects of this country. Because when you look at what happened in Bomas, it doesn't show any respect to the people of Kenya who have given us this trust and responsibility. So for me, I will work hard to ensure that collegially and together as a team, we interpret the law and we stick to the law. And if it's, for example, that issue that's normally contentious, the result transmission and the declaration of the final results. In the case of what you've mentioned, as commissioners, we are supposed to work as a team. We have to have structured kind of engagement. Our decision making must be such that we make decisions based on the law. And where we have disagreements, we should be able actually to record, to air those disagreements, say, I disagree with this, but it has to be recorded. For example, in the case of that presidential results, the law and in the rulings of the Supreme Court, the results at the polling stations are final. The results recorded in Form 34A. So the role of the chair is to return and declare as they are. No alteration, no anything. But then our role as a commission, collectively, the 7 of us, should be to verify and to ensure that they correct what is in the portal, what is what we have been, the returns that have come from the polling stations out of the, I think, 46,229 polling stations, that these forms actually are authentic, the security features, the recording of all these things, so that then we do it as a collegiate, as a collective. And where any member of my team disagrees, we should be able to record it in our minutes and in our reports, so that I made a decision. For example, if as a chairman I disagree with certain things, I can be able to say this number of forms, I don't think they are authentic. And then it has to be recorded. So that then we don't witness a situation where I take off and or I leave somebody else to do this. Yet we were recruited together and we were banded together to undertake a national duty, which is very sensitive. So, I mean, I would not, So for me, it's about that internal dialogue. It's about structuring our decision making. And it's about, of course, assigning ourselves duties. And the case of Secretariat, for example, you've mentioned, I've worked with the commission before, the National Commission on Human Rights, with Maina Kay as chairman. And in that commission, we never witnessed any fighting between us and our commissioners or, such things. So based on those lessons, I should be able to have the Secretariat do the jobs that they are mandated to do. And we as a commissioners, we take responsibility for what the law mandates us to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm happy at the way you have maintained your calm. There's something I was testing. My second one, again, let me give you a practical example. In Kenya and many African countries, incumbents never lose elections. You've already had the country, and we have to address these things because we need to always save our country. We've already had a one-term president. What has been the response from his side? We are the county that knows how to produce presidents for 24 years.